60 acres of land, a watershed pond, a 3-room house and an outhouse shed, no power to speak of, a squeaky old bed, and an old cherry tree, now half of which dead. These were the items that Papa had left to my father Jesse when we put him to rest. Now they're all mine, my father now gone. All that's left here of the family farm. So I went out to look at the land with my son, to see what I dreamed of since I was so young. We pulled up to the gate that was covered with weeds. The fence was still standing and we looked for the keys. The key was still there up under a rock, but the lock was so rusted it easily burst. There weren't much left of what had been the road, but we had 4-wheel drive and we climbed the hill slow. The house was much smaller than I had recalled. My son just laughed, surprised anyone had lived there at all. What used to be a well was now a pile of bricks, and the porch on the front had leaned over and fallen to bits. The paint that was blue was faded and gone, and the weeds had grown up and taken over the lawn, but hadn't killed the irises that held their own ground, where we planted them there on each side of the well. The house was still standing, it'd been built by the best. My Papa Jesse had built it to last. I could see my grandmother Audrey at the window we passed, though now it was broken with none of its glass. The greatest grandma kid ever had. She kissed my forehead when she tucked me in bed, with a handmade blanket on a squeaky old bed. We got a big day tomorrow, she always said. She was always awake when I had gotten up, to the smell of the bacon and biscuits she cooked, coffee for Papa and milk in my cup. Now empty cupboards all covered with dust. The door had since come off of its hinge, or maybe someone came along and busted it in. Once I was inside, my son was texting his friends while I stood at the window and thought back to the day when even at Grandma's boys actually played. Grandma and I picked cherries one such afternoon. From that cherry tree there its blossoms in bloom, filling the air here with its cherry perfume. I remember her talking, telling me rhymes, as I pitted cherries and she laced the pies. It wasn't the cherries that make a good pie, but the love that a mother puts here inside. I was happy to be here, but at the same time, it was all I could do to keep me from crying. Then my boy came back, still holding his phone, and said, "It's so boring here. When can we go?" "60 acres of land, a watershed pond, a 3-room houses, an outhouse shed, no power to speak of, a squeaky old bed, and an old cherry tree now half of which dead."